Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will write a Python program for registration and login form management system in VS Code Studio. So here I have to open VS Code Studio. So this is my folder, prog files, and I have to open VS Code Studio inside this folder. So here I will click and then I will type here cmd to open command prompt. And this is our command prompt. And now I will type a command code space dot and then I will press enter key from my keyboard. And after a small while, you can see this is VS Code Studio. Okay. Now I have to create a new file. So I will click here and after it you can see this is prog files. This is the folder. Inside this file will be stored or saved. Okay, now I have to create a new file. So this is option to create new file. So I will click here and after it I have to give a name to my file. So this is registration.py. Py is extension for Python. And after it I will press enter key and then you can see that my file has created successfully. Now I have to write a code of Python. So here first of all I have to create an empty list with name login. Okay, so this is login list. You can use any other name instead of login. So this is a list and empty list. Okay, now I have to use while loop. So here I will use while true. Okay, and after it I have to give three options to our user. So first option I will print using print function, and here I have to print a string that one for registration. If user enters 1, then it means that he wants to register himself or herself. Then print 2. Here I will type 2 for login. Okay. If he want to login, then he will enter 2. Okay. And after it, I will once again print the option for user, that is 0 or 3. You can use any digit. So here I will use 3 for exit. Okay, for exit. So these are three options provided to our user. If he enters 1, then he wants to register him or herself. And after it, if he enters 2, then he wants to log in. And if he enters 3, then he wants to exit from program. Okay, now I have to get choice of user. So here I will use a variable. So I have declared a variable with name val. Okay, and after it I have to define type of this input. So this is integer type, and after it here I will use input because we have to get a value from user. So here I have to use input function. Okay, now I will display a string. So this can enter value. Okay, enter value. So we will get value from user. If he enters 1, then we will register him. If he enters 2, then we will log in him. Or if he enters 3, then we will exit him from program. So this is completed. Now I want to print empty line. So here I will use a print function. Okay, without any parameter or string. And after it I have to compare this gotten value with any digit. So I will use if condition. If val val is the variable that contains the choice of user. If val is equal 1, it means that if user enters 1, then he wants to register himself. So here I will call a function that is not still declared. So we will declare it later. First of all, we are calling the function that can, you can use any name, but I will use register. Okay, registration. This is function name. So you can see a error because still we have not declared this variable, but we are trying to call. So that's why this is error. And after it we will go to next line, and here I will use L if, and here I have to compare a second condition, that if a user enters 2. Okay, so in this case he wants to log in, so here I will create a function, call function, sorry, here I have to call. Okay, login user. So this is function name login user, and here is also error because we have not declared this function. Okay, okay, and after it uh, here I will use again elif, and now we have to compare that if user enters 3, then he wants to exit from program, then we will break the loop. Okay, so here I will use break statement. Now, if user enters any invalid input, then we will use else. Okay, so this is else, and here I will print message. So here I will use print. So first I will print an empty line. After it, I will print message that I want to show to our user, that is invalid input. Okay, and after it I will print a empty line again by using empty print function. Okay, so this is completed. Now I have to define these functions. Okay, so I will go to top of this page here, and after on first line, so here I will define with def keyword. This keyword is used to define any function or other statements. So here I have defined this keyword. After it I have to define name of function, that is registration. Okay, this is the function that I have to use, or I have called register. Sorry, here is spelling mistake. Now you can see that error was removed because we have declared or defined it here. Now I have to get username and password, so they will be stored in a variable. So here I will use user name. Okay, so here because we have to register the user, so first of all we have get the username. So this is variable that I have declared, and I will assign a value to this variable. So here I will print a message, sorry, I will use input method that is by default provided by Python, and here I will type a string that enter user name. Okay, so here user will enter his or her name, and after it we will get password. So here I will use user code. Okay, so I will again use this input function, and here I will type string enter user password. Okay, and then we will get password of user, and this password will be stored or saved inside this user code variable. Okay, now I have to declare a dictionary. So here I will use name of dictionary. So you can use any name, but I will use record. Okay, and after it I will assign it some values by using keys. Okay, so we have to define a key. So here I will use u name. This is a key that will associated with a value. So value is saved inside this username variable. So here I will use user name. Okay, so what are we doing? This is a dictionary with name record. You can use any other name instead of a record, and after it, this is a key. Okay, and this value is associated with this uname key. Okay, so when we want to use value that is saved inside this username, then we will call this key. Okay, and after it I have to set another key. So here I will use another key, u code. Okay, so here I will associate this user code with this key. So here I will use user code. Okay, sorry, here I have to use colon to associate this value with key. Okay, so these two variables that contains a username and password are associated with these two keys, ucode and uname. Okay, and after it we have to append these values with login list, because we want to store these data or information inside our list with name login. So here I will use login, and after it dot, and then append function. Okay, and this append function is provided by default by Python. Okay, now here I will type record. Okay, now all the record or information stored in this dictionary will be assigned to this list login. Okay, now this function is completed, but here I want to print an empty line. So here I will use print function, and that is empty without any parameter. Okay, and now I have to display or print a message that user is registered successfully. So here I will use print, and then I will type here inside print as a string that you are registered successfully. Okay, so registered successfully. So it means that user was registered successfully when our all information or entered data will be stored inside our login list. Then this message will be displayed that you are registered successfully. Okay, so here is empty line after this output, and now I have to define other function, that is login. Okay, user login. So here I will use again this definition or define keyword. Okay, and after it user uh, login. This was a function, sorry, mistake, spelling mistake. This is login function, and after it semicolon. Now you can see, sorry, login user. This function was login user, so I will replace it login user. Okay, now you can see that error is removed from here. So now I have to write some code inside this function. So here I will get username and password to log in the user. So here I will use again a variable with un, it means username. Okay, so after it I will assign a value by getting from user. So here I will use input method to get value from user. Okay, so here I will type username, and then a user will enter his name, and then we will save that name inside this un variable. Okay, and now I will get user password. So here I will use uc, it means user code, and then I will use again input method. So here input, and then I will display a string first, that is user password. So we will get password of user, and that will be assigned to this uc. Okay, and after it I have used a for loop. So here, because I have to search a user, we can have many users, more than 10, more than 100. Okay, then we have to search a specific user. So we should use for loop or any other loop, but I will use for loop to search a specific user. Okay, so here I am using for loop, and then I will declare a local variable with I name, and then you can use any other name or character instead of I, and after it I will use in. This is keyword, reserved keyword, we cannot change it. And after it I will define here login, that is name of our list. So if size of login list is 100, then this 100 size will be assigned to this I, then this for loop will be executed 100 times. Okay, so here I will use colon, and now I have to compare with the if condition. So here I will use if. So first we will compare user name. So here I am defining user name, and it will compare with I, and I will use here key that contains or associated with user name. Okay, so that was u name, that is our uname key that is associated with user names. So here I am using this key uname. Okay, so in first iteration value of I is 0, so first index will be compared with this user entered uh, username. Okay, if it is true that user entered name matches with our first index, then we will display message that you are logged in successfully. Otherwise we will execute next iteration to check value or compare with second index. If it does not match, then in third iteration we will try to compare with third index, and so on. Okay, and this is comparison of username with uname. Okay, now I have use add to compare passwords. Okay, so here we have gotten password inside this UC, and then we will use this UC for comparison with I, and here I will use a key that is U code. Okay, that is associated with user code that was stored inside our list. Okay, so here I have used if condition to compare username with saved name, one of saved name. Okay, because we can have multiple names, and after it we are trying to compare this UC that contains user password that was gotten by using this input. Okay, and after it we will compare it with this U code that is associated with user code. Okay, if it is true, then we have to set a flag. Here I will use is found. Okay, is found, and its type is boolean, and here I will set it false. Okay, so first time this is false, but if we found successfully any user, then we will set it true, is found, and here I will set it true. It means that our user is compared successfully. So here I have used that is found is true, and after it I have to display a message using print function, and here I will print that logged in successfully. Okay, this message will be printed if user name and password is matched with any index. Okay, so this message will be displayed. Okay, now I have to break this for loop because we do not need next iterations when our specific username and password is matched with our any index. Okay, that contains its name and password, then we do not need next iteration. So here I am using break statement to break next iteration for loop or for loop. Okay, so now outside the body of for loop I will use if condition again, that if username and password is incorrect. Okay, and all iterations are completed of this for loop, then we will display error message. Okay, so here I am using this if condition, and this if condition is outside the for loop. Okay, this if condition is inside the login user function, but it is outside the for loop. Okay, so here I will set condition that name of variable was is found is equal false. It means that it is still false. Then we will print error message. So first I want to print empty line. So here I will use this print message, and after it I will print a string that is incorrect or invalid. Okay, invalid username, sorry, invalid username or password. Okay, this message will be displayed if all iterations of for loop are completed and no match found. Then this message will be printed that your username and password is invalid. Then after it I want to print empty line again. Okay, now our code is completed about this login user. Okay, now although our all code is completed, now I have to save it. So here I have saved, and then I want to execute. So I will click here and then run Python file in dedicated terminal. So I will click here, and after a small while here is error. What is error? Registration colon. Yes, this is error because we have not to use this colon when we are calling this function here. Okay, so now our error is removed. Okay, so this was our mistake because we have used a colon when we are calling our function. We do not need to use this colon when we are calling any function. Okay, now I want to run it again. First of all I will save it with control plus s, and then I will run or execute it again, and now you can see that our program is executed successfully. Now I will enter a value here. I want to register myself, so here I will enter 1, and after it I have to enter my name. So I can use any name like John, and after it I will press enter key, and now I will enter a password John12. Okay, so here you can see that this message is printed that you are registered successfully. Now I want to register one more user, so here I will enter 1 again. So this is first choice for registration. Okay, so here I have entered 1, and then I will enter username, so I can enter David. Okay, and then here I will type a password David. You can enter any password, but I am typing 34 David 34. Okay, now we have registered two users. Okay, you can see that this message is printed that you are registered successfully. Now I want to log in, so here I will choose second option with 2, and after it I will press enter key. Now I have to enter name of user, so I want to log in our first user. So here I will type name of a user, that was John. Okay, and then password of John 12. Okay, then I will press enter key. Now you can see that logged in successfully. Okay, this message is displayed, but there is no space among these two outputs because we have not used print empty print function after this output. Okay, no problem. Then I want to log in our second user, so here I will choose second option with 2, and now I will enter name of user, that was David. Okay, and after it I will enter password of David. that was 34, David 34, and then I will press enter key, and now you can see that logged in successfully. Now what will happen if I will enter incorrect name or password? So here I will choose to again, and now I will enter name of user. So here I will enter David again, and then I will enter incorrect password. Okay, John 12. So password is associated with John, but name is uh, David. Okay, so this is incorrect input. So what will happen when I will enter? So you can see that this message is displayed, that invalid username or password. It means that we have two users in our list. Then our for loop was executed two times, but it not found any specific value. So this message is displayed, that invalid username or password. Okay, now what will happen if I will enter incorrect choice? So if I enter 4, then I will press enter key, then you can see that this is invalid input because we have no any value or choice for 4. Okay, that's why this message is printed, that invalid input. Okay, now what will happen if I enter 3? So it should exit. So here you can see that we are exited successfully. So I will type here clear to clear this terminal. Okay, so this is all about registration and login management system. I hope this video will very helpful and easy to understand for you. If you like this video, please share video with your friends and subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you.